Hi YouTube, welcome back to another episode of Zero Escape, Virtue's Last Reward. Previously, we had a big reveal. There was a stasis pod in the Bramble Garden. I think that's what it's called. And now we're getting, well, previous episode was a big reveal. A lot of story stuff. And this is probably the second part of it. Considering that this old woman is June from Zero Escape. Well, from Zero Escape, 9 people, 9 hours, 9 doors. And well, turns out we have some of the OG players of the series in this game as well. Well, how could you not? Well, at least that's what I'm thinking. How could you not have some of the OG players of the No Nary game in this second game as well? But, you know, that's just part of the theme. Anyway, let's get started.
In this one, I wasn't murdered by Dio. You two saved me. It's just like Schrodinger's cat. Your actions in the future decided who would be inside the armor in the past.
That's a weird concept. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. Schrodinger's cat. Actions in the future change the outcome of the past. What? I wonder if that's a real thing. That's something I'm curious about. Yeah, even Sigma knows. That's nuts. That feeling when you can relate to the main character.
Alright, what about the other history? The one where you weren't saved. What happens then? Who's wearing the armor?
That's quite simple. The man in front of you.
Him?
Sigma?
That's correct. Whenever I'm not in the armor, he is.
What about the memory loss?
For my part, I confess that I lied. He, on the other hand, was telling the truth. Large doses of Soporil can cause memory loss. I gave him a rather large dose.
Ooh.
So, who is he?
You've never seen him before?
No.
That's Sigma.
What about the rest of you?
I have no idea who he is.
I've never seen him before.
Me either. Total stranger.
The look on everybody's face.
Are you alright, Mr. Sigma? Did you hit your head or something?
Sigma, your consciousness can jump through time. You can inhabit your body in the past or in the future. Don't you get it? You've jumped to the future. From 45 years ago.
Ooh, big reveal. Yep, this is Revelations Part 2.
It's your face, Dr. Sigma Climb.
Doctor. Climb. Sounds like Klim.
Although, to the you that's behind it now, it's your face 45 years from now. Zero, the mastermind of the AB project, is you.
Man, this sounds like total Star Wars Episode 5. No, that's not possible. With a little more cussing on the side.
No, it's the truth. Fighting it isn't going to do you any good. Please, Doctor. You will be a pioneer in the field of genetic engineering. No, I'm not. You created him. Well, I suppose I should say you are going to create him. His name is Kyle Climb. Your clone. That is why he looks just like a younger version of yourself. 23 years ago, in the biolab here in Rhizome 9, you created Kyle. Well, I suppose for you, that's still in the future. When I said I was born and raised here, I was still pretending to be him. The gravity here is only 1/6 of Earth's. If nothing was done, the reduced gravity would cause his bones to be weaker than normal human ones. But you prepared for that. You gave him that armor. Ever since he was born, he's lived inside of it. It kept his muscles and bones strong. He wasn't forced into it for the nonary game. He's been wearing it every day, all his life.
And that music sounds like an ending's about to hit.
He was to be your spare. If something happened to you before the project began, he would take your place. I mentioned before that the AB projects A and B stood for after and before. That isn't all they mean, though. The A also means anima, and the B means body. Anima is another word for the soul, or the consciousness. Body is, well, exactly what it says on the tin. The past consciousness will go into the future body, and the future consciousness will go into the past body. They switch. That was the chief goal of the project. Sigma, do you remember the note you found in the garden?
You mean this, right?
A note?
Yes.
Oh, this.
Ah, of course, it was you who investigated the garden in this timeline.
Yeah.
Sigma, take a good look at this. It's an illustration of the time jumps your consciousness is making.
I'm just looking at it. Just wondering what it's supposed
A
to mean.
is where everything began. December 25th,
Oh, she'll explain.
2028. You inhaled the white smoke in your car and lost consciousness. From there, you jumped to B. January 25th, 2074. You woke up in one of the AB rooms in Rhizome 9. You are in your own body, but it is 67 years old. Your consciousness has jumped 45 years into the future. I believe that may explain why you didn't notice the reduced lunar gravity. The body you woke up in was much older. Normally, you would have noticed that your muscles were much weaker. In this case, however, the lower gravity balanced that out. Moving on. If you continue along this line, what happens next? You reach C, which is January 27th, 2074. That is today.
I'm just looking at it again. Just trying to follow the trace here.
Whoa. Wait, what do you mean? Are you saying it's been 2 days since we woke up?
36 hours to be exact. Have you already forgotten? You were all infected with Radical 6. The virus slowed your brain down. So yes, 36 hours of real time have passed. But to you, it only seemed like 14 hours and 40 minutes. Now comes the important part. After this, your consciousness will return to the past. It will re-emerge at point D. April 13th, 2029. You will return to your younger body.
But that's the same day as the reactor explosions.
Yes. That is why I said it will be too late. You will return to the past, but the events you would want to prevent will have already happened. The story does not end there, however. The line continues. After reaching point D, you will eventually return to B. But this time, you won't be jumping through time, or at least not at a rate faster than normal. Your consciousness will spend 45 years inhabiting the same body until you reach point B. Do you remember when B is, Sigma? Correct.
I put my headphones by accident. There we go.
That was when the consciousness of the 22-year-old Sigma jumped into the body of 67-year-old Sigma. So where did the older version of you go when you took his body?
Glad I'm recording this because this is a lot more complicated than I thought.
Yes. His consciousness will go back in time 45 years. For a period of time, he will inhabit your younger body. While your younger consciousness is elsewhere, he will be you in the past. That's correct. When that happens, the older version of you will be ejected from your younger body and return to your body at sea. Rotating. I suppose you could put it that way. But look at this illustration closely.
I'm wondering
What
about
if
point
you
E.
take all these lines and untangle them? You get one single line. It may look complicated, but in truth, it's a single straight path. With one exception. Exactly. Point E is December 31st, 2028, the day of the total eclipse. Yes. By now you've likely figured it out on your own. The purpose of the AB project was to get the consciousness of the 67-year-old Sigma from point B to point A. If we can do that, we can change what happened 45 years ago. Yes. That is why this line could not be interrupted. In order for the 67-year-old version of you to reach point B,
Can we just call him
first
Old
have
Sigma?
to go through point D.
Can we just call him Old Sigma? For simplicity's sake?
In order to get to point D, we must jump from point C. And for point C to happen, we had to recreate everything that happened in this facility. That is why we have faithfully retraced history up to this point. So that we might save humankind from destruction and undo the horrors of the last 45 years.
And music stops. Oh boy.
What is that? Yes, that's right. Very soon. Yes. We need potential energy stored to send your consciousness into the fourth dimension. Fortunately, we now have plenty of that.
What?
Thanks, ironically, to Radical 6. All that remains is to launch your consciousness, like a bullet from a slingshot.
Still with the slingshot analogies? Man.
Didn't I tell you? A crisis. A moment balanced between life and death. That can jumpstart your brain. You haven't figured it out.
Oh, snaps.
I mean this.
Ooh. This sounds like an ending song. Oh, this is interesting. So we get pictures from other scenes in this ending. This must be special. How are we on time? 23 minutes. So it seems like she tried to cause some life and death situation with the knife to send his consciousness back to the past. But man, this having to sit through the credits for the most part, that's what this series ends up being. Dynamic entry. Oh. Vice ending. Okay. Nah, just gonna... Well, that's my new intro now. It's gonna be the new intro, but the final intro for this video series. Okay, so this must be... oh, new destination. So now I'm even back further into the past. Well, let's get this started. Let me change the scene.
Today is April 13th, 2029, and this is the evening news. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. I don't have any news to read. All of our station's reporters have passed after contracting Radical 6. So have my... Excuse me. I've managed to keep us on the air until now. But I'm out of tricks. It's time for me to sign off. This concludes our broadcast day. I pray that someday our world can be cleansed of this horrible plague. Goodbye.
Ooh. Damn. Footsteps. It's Akane from the previous game. Well, at least she looks like she's from the previous game.
It looks like the first step was successful. Killed? Hey, no need to be rude about it. I didn't kill you. I hit you with the butt of a knife. You're fine. Yes. You and Phi needed to experience a state of crisis. That was the only way.
Oh. So this is old Akane in the young Akane's body.
Yes. I only told you about you, but... we also needed Phi to jump. Now, you know what happens next, right? Correct. We will be leaving tomorrow, April 14th, 2029.
Wow. Really precise on the dates, aren't we? What about the time we're leaving? Kappa. But wow. Can't believe such a helpless young girl from the previous game turns out to be, well, she was Zero anyway in the first game, but now it turns out to be that she's like, I gotta help you.
We've nearly finished preparing your shuttle. Only a few last-minute checks and additions. You'll be traveling to Rhizome 9 along with 3 treatment pods. Yes. Phi. We put her into cold sleep 2 days ago. She appeared at our headquarters and volunteered to be frozen. That wasn't the Phi who had jumped from Point C, though. It was Phi before she jumped from Point A to Point D. In other words, she was following the same path you are. And she still is. Yes. The Point C version of Phi is sleeping in that pod. She'll stay there for the next 45 years. Sleeping in ice.
That sounds depressing. That sounds very depressing.
Correct. We can't do that. You haven't figured it out? You have to spend the next 45 years working on the AB project. After arriving at Rhizome 9, you must master genetic engineering and artificial intelligence programming, among other disciplines. Otherwise, you will be unable to create Kyle, Luna, and Logomorph. And of course, you will need to develop the chromatic doors and the bracelets. You will also be the person who summons Tenmyoji and Quark.
Damn.
Once you've completed all the preparations, then the project can actually begin.
Man, it kind of sounds like the mastermind of all this. Just like she did in the previous game.
January 25th, 2074. You will defrost Phi and carry her to the 3rd AB room. Once you've done that, the 22-year-old version of you from Point A will force you out. And you'll just go back 45 years to your own body on December 25th, 2028.
So we're doing all this so we can do it again. Man. Timey-wimey thingamajig. I don't watch Doctor Who, but sounds like a timey-wimey situation.
You have to. If you don't, billions of people will die.
Again.
Only you and Phi can save them. I can't do anything on my own. If this is going to work, I'll need your help. What do you mean? You'll both enter the Mars mission test site. I don't know.
With that look on her face.
I'm sorry. I really don't know anything about what happens in there. We don't know how the Radical Six escaped. We don't even know why it was there in the first place. That's why we need your help. You have the ability to jump through time and across parallel worlds. We need you to figure out what happened in that test facility. Things will be difficult. And I'm sure you will find yourself in a great deal of danger. But I believe the two of you can overcome any obstacle. The 67-year-old version of you told me what happened. he wasn't able to stop the virus. So, I suppose you could say you told me after you failed. That the test facility is full of traps.
And music stops suspiciously.
There was one point. A woman's life was in danger. You risked yourself for her sake, and lost your arms and your right eye.
Ooh.
Go have a look.
Wow, that's... Damn. So what now? I think I'll have to cut this short. Let me see if there's anything else that I need to do. I got all the endings. I probably have to... Wait, what's this?
I see you've finally woken up, Kyle.
Kyle?
Kyle.
Yes. Of course. You've only just woken up in this timeline. It's only natural for some of your memories to be missing.
Kyle Klein.
Kyle, can you... Wow, can you pronounce names correctly?
So, I'm Dr. Klein? Zero Senior's clone?
What? How do you know that? Shouldn't you still be suffering from amnesia?
Interesting. This is getting interesting.
day is today?
January 27th, 2074.
Today is the last day of the AB project. Akane has explained everything in the garden. And she drew a knife and attacked Phi. How long have I been asleep?
About 5 hours in real time.
This must be Sigma's voice. Or at least the voice acting for Sigma. Hey guys, I finally get a voice. I finally get a voice now. Awesome.
For them, it would have seemed like a little more than 2 hours.
So they still haven't been treated for their Radical 6?
No, they've all been given the antiviral. It just takes a while to have an effect.
I see. So the consciousness of the younger Sigma has gone back into the past. It should have happened right after Akane attacked Phi, right?
Yes,
Why am I here?
the doctor carried you back here. You were in the pod in the garden.
So the person you call the doctor is Sigma Klein, as inhabited by his age-appropriate consciousness.
Yes, but how do you know that?
Maybe another consciousness was born out of this? I don't know. That's something I'll have to see.
Dio seems to have remained unconscious.
Yes. I've been administering Soparil whenever he gets restless.
What about the others?
Ooh, song. The music stops.
They've all gone off to different areas. Tenmyoji and Quark, for instance.
I don't even get to choose here.
Oh, right! Mr. Klein!
So the sleepyhead's finally up, huh?
What are you two doing here?
You don't know where we are?
In the decontamination room.
This is the upper floor of the pressure exchange chamber. The real one.
Mm-hmm.
We were just about to get dressed and head out.
You plan to return then? To Earth, I mean.
Yeah.
Sigma told us where we could find the shuttle that brought us here. Well, guess he's not really the Sigma I knew anymore. He's Dr. Klein now, or Zero Senior, depending on how you look at it.
Why?
What do you mean, why?
Well... I'm just curious why you would choose to return to a devastated planet when you could stay here.
How's staying here gonna help? You aren't gonna say something idiotic about how we should wait here until Sigma changes the past, are you? You can't wait for something that's already happened. Grammar doesn't work that way. Hell, nature doesn't work that way. You following me? We've already lived through history. Sigma failed to keep the virus from getting out. About 45 years ago, Radical 6 created a pandemic, and the antimatter reactors blew up. That all happened. Whatever Sigma does in the past, history's not going to change. In fact, it's because of what he did, or didn't do in the past, that we've got this past and present. Let me give you an example.
Wow, what's with that change right there?
Imagine a group of 100 motorcycles driving down an endless freeway. Eventually, they hit a junction. The road splits in two. One freeway continues off northwest, and the other stretches out to the northeast. So one guy, we'll call him S, pipes up.
S. For a moment I thought he said ass.
Let's go northwest, he says. So they take the northwestern road, but about a mile past the intersection, something horrible happens. A semi driving the other way veers into their lane and plows through the bikers. 90 of them die. The surviving 10 are wounded, but survive. They don't stop, though. They keep riding down that highway, and eventually they'd gone 10,000 miles. Then suddenly, something happens that they couldn't have predicted. S, who had survived, suddenly has his consciousness thrown back in time. He ends up back in his own body just before they reach the junction. He remembers everything. So what does S do? What anybody would do. Let's go northeast. That means all 100 of the bikers survive to reach their destination, happy and healthy. And they all live happily ever after. That's what you're thinking, right? It's a great outcome for the 100 bikers that went northeast. But what about the 10 that went northwest and survived the accident?
Huh? Wouldn't it be 9 people? I mean, S's mind went back in time, right?
Right.
Sharp,
Okay, 9 people then.
sharp kid.
What happens to the reality they were living? Does it just disappear when S changes the past? It's not as if it was only bad things that happened during that 10,000-mile trip. Maybe one of them fell in love with a woman working at a gas station they stopped at and had a child. Maybe one of them picked up a homeless kid who joined them on their adventure. That 10,000-mile journey would be full of stories. Friendships, farewells, romances. The loss of those 90 lives is horrible and unfortunate. But what would rewriting their history mean? The 9 who survived lived full lives. How can it be right to just erase all that? The survivors overcame their own misery and loss and made the best they could of the hand they'd been dealt. Isn't that worth something? Isn't that the best thing that humans can aspire to? Is there really any point to a world where everything is happy? Are people who struggle for a better life just idiots? Being human is about fighting even when it seems hopeless, and finding happiness even in a world that hates it.
Wow, Tenmyoji's quite a preacher, isn't he?
Are you saying that's worthless? If you're saying rewriting the past will erase all these other timelines, then whatever God wrote those rules can I'm just not going to accept that, alright?
There's a kid in the room.
You get it?
If Sigma changes the past, then you and Quark will never meet.
Is he right?
No. It's not going to happen. We're here right now. This is reality. Even if Sigma does change the past, we're not just going to disappear or something.
Oh! Then that means we get to stay together? Good.
Aww. How could you disappoint a face like that?
Thanks, kid.
I think there's more to this than just Tenmyoji and Quark, and I'm gonna cut it here. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. My name is Ale, and I'll see you next time. Ciao, ciao.